the day that I lost everything. And again, as an influencer talent manager, right, which is a very unique job, I've had such a unique experience in life. All right, well, good morning. I wrote down the day that I lost everything and what I learned from it. But I find myself when I turn on the camera sometimes getting hit with anxiety, probably related to like the trauma of TanaCon, right? And talking about my story and fear. And I'm still giving myself space to do this, right? And to, I guess, talk about my experience. And I'm gonna get better at this over time. So stick around, subscribe. I'm going to begin filming every Monday and posting maybe like Fridays every week to teach you and tell you my story as someone who's been in the influencer scene for over a decade, managing influencers, and have been through massive controversy, being canceled, extreme litigation, the biggest brand deals in the world, managing influencers, Hulu documentaries, like on and on and on and on and on, right? And so I want to tell you about my experience in life, and I will get a better setup, and I will make this look better, and I will get better, but I'm going to create for the purpose of creating and teach and tell you my stories, and I'll definitely get better. I just got back from my parents' beach place in Gulf Shores. And when I come back, I usually feel very fresh and have a lot of insight into my life and what's going on. The last time we spoke, I was, I don't know, very emotional and here and there. Whereas now I am medicated. I have been on antidepressants for like a couple weeks, I guess, since my last post. And I'm starting to level out. I had to adjust to the medication, but I'm starting to level out, right? And there's a lot less highs and a lot less lows and a lot more just like presence, if you'll say, which has been a unique experience for me just in that, because, you know, I've had to like reconnect with my inner self, and my dopamine situation is strange because of Adderall addiction and all of these things, but I'm starting to level out, and that's part of healing, right? And I'm trying to do that publicly in a way that teaches and shows you what's going on, but also remains authentic to me. And I guess I want to talk to you today about, and I'll get much better at this, guys. Bear with me. All to say, I'm about to get a lot more consistent and a lot better at this, and I'll get better about my background and my outfits and everything else that I think will consist of my videos and developing that relationship with you guys. I guess I want to talk about the day that I lost everything. And again, as an influencer talent manager, right, which is a very unique job, I've had such a unique experience in life. And all of these videos each week will get very much into that. We're going to really dive deep into each week, different topics, different stories, different things like that. My nervous system is still learning that it's okay to even talk about these things, right? So you have to bear with me, because I'm still feeling like when I feel like a moment of inspiration, I run to the camera because I need to get the story out before I lose it or get too scared or too caught up, which is fucking crazy. I'm really just adjusting to life and the nervous system response of being canceled and trauma and like that leading to addiction and everything else that consists of my experience, right? I like have trauma response, deep trauma response to many of it. I can't even remember parts because it all happened so quick. But prior to TanaCon, I was living with Larry, managing him, working with several creators, managing a lot of talent. You know, anyways, I had the idea we're going to do TanaCon. And so, well, me and Larry had the idea. I approached Tana, whatever, we do the idea. Tana and I had done an event together prior to that. Anyways, if you know, we did a convention that went really well. She had a lot of fun and we were like, okay, we're gonna do this one to compete with VidCon during all this drama, whatever, right? Anyways, so I had hired an event coordinator to run TanaCon. And also I stayed in hiding for so long after being canceled because I guess I thought that like, it wasn't safe to be me. And I think I've talked about that before, right? But I really thought it wasn't safe to be myself. And the world kept telling me it's not safe to be me. The internet kept telling me it's not safe. Kill yourself, scammer, blah, blah, blah. All of this narrative that was like false, right? Fake news, whatever the fuck, that Tana was spewing out. And the reality is it just simply wasn't true. I can look at it now 5 years later or however many years it's been, a long time, and see the consequences of her actions and like the experience of all of that. But let's talk about the day that everything went down. So TanaCon had been weeks in the making, weeks, months, really a pretty quick timeline, but like we were moving fast. I had been talking to Bella Thorne, been doing all these things, right? You kind of know the drill. But the day that I lost everything was the day that really the moment. I just remember I had woken up that morning and there was already a huge crowd outside. And I guess I had woken up a little later than expected, probably because I was up late preparing for the day. And I had hired an event coordinator. And when I came down, the doors weren't open. Huge crowd outside, and I was already like, whoa, something feels off. The event coordinator had like not been going with what the plan was that we had rehearsed. There was a lot of like changes done. And anyways, the moment that everything changed in my life. And right up until that point, I was doing the biggest brand deals with the biggest creators, managing the top talent in the world, did it filming for Hulu, like so on and so forth, right? Huge career, massive success at a very young age, etc. Anyways, the fire department, we opened the doors. Also, I got fucking served with a lawsuit that morning. I'm standing in the parking lot and I'm on my little Segway and someone walks up to me and is like, Michael. And I thought that was a question that someone was going to be like asking me like, hey, when does it start? When do the doors open? Like some question about the event. And they are like, Michael Weist? And I'm like, yes. And then they fucking say, you've been served and hand me a lawsuit, which was crazy. And I just knew, oh my God, this is going to be a day that the universe is about to teach me some lessons or shit's about to go down, right? That was like, as soon as I woke up, as soon as I was outside prepping to open the doors. We open the doors, right? The event's going on. Everything's kind of flowing. Creators are coming in through the back. We're having a lot of great times, laughters, moments. Super cool in the back end. All the creators are arriving. They're like, wow, look at this build out. This is great. The green room looks great. The talent section looks super cool. The stage is cool. Everyone's getting excited. Couple panels get going. We kind of get moving. And I'm already just like concerned about the volume of people. And I think Tana had been tweeting like, come over from VidCon, like driving more traffic over, right? Meanwhile, there was just a lot sort of to go through my head and like managing everything, whatever. The big shifting moment is when the fire department had arrived and shut the doors. Meanwhile, all these people that are working outside have like tables doing check-in. And I fucked up because I didn't make a separate line for people that didn't have tickets. So we had a line of people that was everyone arriving, right? Ticket holders and non-ticket holders. So new people were in the line with people that already had tickets, and that became a check-in issue. Huge problem. Anyways, I guess the volume had just gotten so much inside the hotel, which the hotel is supposed to let people kind of cycle in and out and keep the traffic moving. There was never supposed to be like a massive amount of people. Also, we were super limited on venue selections prior to the event. That was the only one close to VidCon. That was the only one that would like work with budgets. Anyways, that was the only venue that would work with Tana's expectations, everything. Anyways, the fire department shut the fucking door and stopped traffic. And I was like, you guys have to open that door. You have to open that door. You've got to keep traffic moving. They're like, no, blah, blah, blah. That's when eventually the outside started rioting. Everyone was literally rioting, ripping lanyards because they couldn't get in and they're standing in the sun. But instead of going home, they still wanted to be there. Anyways, they shut the doors and I'm kind of like freaking out. And I'm like, what is happening? What is going on? Open these doors. The hotel approaches me and like, we can't do this event. You need to find other options. I eventually go into the manager's office and I'm like, if you do not let me have this event, I'm going to kill myself. Because like, I'm gonna lose everything. If I have to cancel this event in front of everyone, I'm gonna get massively scandaled. Meanwhile, I'm trying to handle all of this. Tana's off partying, whatever the fuck. She ends up going to a creator party at VidCon, all of this shit. Anyways, there's a scene where like I'm running across the street and I'm literally crying and I'm like talking to another backup venue that I had tried to line up in case we needed more space, right? And they tripled the price on me and they're like, nope, can't do it. You have to get us more money. I had already leveraged every ounce of credit and cash that I had on the event. We get back to the hotel after I've broken down and like figured out what's going on. And I'm like, wow, I have to cancel the event. I step outside and I chose to cancel it because everyone really, for their safety, I guess, right? Like I was like, well, we can't continue. The hotel won't let us. We have to cancel, whatever the fuck. So I start sitting in the boardroom thinking of every option. Like, can we install stages outside? Can we do this? Can we do that? Trying to solve it. Meanwhile, my event coordinator bailed, completely gone. No idea where he's at this time. And I'm trying to run the show. I start crafting things, talking to Tana's manager. We come up with the idea we have to cancel it. Essentially, it all moved really, really fast. That's when I write a public statement, start tweeting with the company accounts, and then eventually I go outside and address the crowd in front of press who have already showed up and are like, there's riots happening, and I'm trying to like do all of this. But in that moment, there's scenes where I'm driving back between these backup venues and people are arriving and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose everything. This is craziness. I was really just trying my best, right? To like help Tana and to help all of our dreams come true. And the creators were having a great time, really. Everyone was having a fantastic experience at the event. On the back end, everyone was like, wow, this is great. On the front end, chaos, right? People were like rioting and ripping lanyards out, but all the creators were like, this is the best thing ever. We ended up having a creator party still, which everyone went to and was like fun. At that point, I had like already canceled the event and I was like, yeah, I've lost everything. As soon as the event was over, I fly immediately because I've already realized that like I have to refund $750,000 of ticket sales and sponsorships and everything else. And I realized that I need to fly home and start putting things in order because I'm like losing everything. So I fly home, and everyone's calling me, credit card companies are calling me, you need to make payments, you need to make payments. I have literally leveraged every ounce of cash and credit I had on that event, thinking that it's gonna go great, it's gonna be a massive success, Tana's gonna love me, everyone's gonna see how great of a job I did, everyone's gonna think I'm amazing, and they're gonna love me for my performance and how great I am at this, and blah, blah, blah. Everyone was just riding my coattails and letting me take all the risk and letting me lead, because if I took the failure, it was easier than them, right? Which Tana eventually just threw me under the bus for the same reason. It was easier to throw me under the bus than address her own accountability that like, this was her event, I was doing this for her, etc. And she's monetized off of it immensely. Anyways, I start calling, I guess, around Nashville and my hometown, and I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Credit card companies are calling me, I can't make payments, I've spent all the money on this event, and I went all in on Tana's dream and my dream, and it didn't meet expectations. And I called a bankruptcy attorney and filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy. The ticket company had held all the money for tickets, so I didn't receive payouts from the tickets until like after the event, right? Which I needed to throw the event. I needed money to throw the event, whatever. Everyone's freaking out, sponsors, I'm dealing with all this madness 24/7. That's what led me to like pick up Adderall, right? Because I had to handle all the things that were being thrown at me from this event. So I start taking Adderall so that I can like handle all the calls and pay the bills and speak to attorneys and everything that had to be done on the back end, make public statements. Eventually that led to Adderall addiction, right? And like years of abusing Adderall in order to like handle the madness that was happening within my brain and in my business and externally and in the world, which was a horrible, 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 horrible experience and a horrible coping mechanism and a horrible way of trying to deal with things. But I filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Personally, my business was shut down and I lost an estimated, $750,000. And I lost much more than that day. I lost my respect for myself a little bit. I lost my way. I lost my friends. I thought Tana was going to be there for me. She instantly started tweeting and throwing things out for me. I lost a lot. And it cost me so much more than bankruptcy, which stays on my credit to this day, right? Like I still can't get credit because there's bankruptcy from it. But everyone in the industry started treating me bad. And while I'm also handling all this personal bankruptcy drama, right? Tana then goes on a crusade to villainize me and make me the scapegoat for all the bad energy coming her way from the universe, from her fans, people that were there. Fine. I guess I assumed those risks and those responsibilities when I started the event, but it was not 100%. It was not parallel or like equivalent value for what happened, because I was treated so poorly by the internet and by the world that I lost it all. Brands wouldn't work with me. Everyone was tweeting so horribly. I tried to go on the Shane Dawson to like tell my side of the story. It was just turned into entertainment and views and videos, again, exploiting me. Not to mention, I'm literally handling the fact that I'm like losing my house, losing, my car. Like I had to forfeit my house lease, my car, like my rent, everything, and start over again and again and again. And then I'm dealing with the fact that like people are looking at me wrong everywhere I go. People are asking me, are you the TanaCon guy? Did you scam everyone? And I'm like, girl, I was just trying to do my best. I was literally just trying to help people's dreams come true. I'm so sorry. For years later, to this day, I still get death threats and hate comments if I post on Instagram. Like, what? It's been so long. And so I think I lost a lot of clients. I had a lot of people that wanted to stop working with me. I had like one friend reach out who was in the industry, but everyone was like, no, Michael's toxic. We don't want to be around him, because anyone that was affiliated with me would get bashed by Tana's fans who were villainizing me. So I lost a lot of brands. I lost contacts. I lost clients. It cost me so much in my career and then so much in myself because it was like trauma and I disconnected from myself. And after that, I was on this path of like drug addiction and destruction and trying to prove to myself that I could do it and that I'm okay. And all of these things that like ultimately didn't matter and were responses. And I'm sorry for everyone that was in my trauma response and like dealing with me at that time. The world treated me wrong. And I'm doing a lot better now. Antidepressants are helping, working out is helping, prioritizing myself is helping, finding good friends is helping. And I think it was a lot. It was really a lot on me. And that's the day that I lost everything. And I learned very quickly who my real friends were. I learned that like you can't really count on anyone by yourself. I learned that you can't expect other people to do what's right. And even after I went to dinner with Shane and Tana, I expected Tana to like apologize for throwing me under the bus and being like, hey, I didn't mean to just like destroy you. I should not have been expecting an apology from her ever because that's just the kind of person she is. She didn't see the consequences, or maybe she did and she just didn't give a fuck, but she had a massive platform, right? And I was just a kid. I was literally a kid. And you can say that 22 is not a kid, but like it is such a kid, or 20, however old I was, 21, 22, whatever, a child compared to now, like will continue to grow into my life. And I learned that like I had to find my own path. I learned negative consequences of it, right? I learned that like I could only rely on myself and I had to work very hard and I was the only way I was going to survive. And I learned that like Adderall would help me work and I could work through this by working and proving to myself that I'm still capable and smart and intelligent and entrepreneurial and all of these things. But I also learned that like ultimately I learned how resilient I am. I learned that I can withstand being perceived incorrectly and being misunderstood by the whole world. And then I learned that like I can deal with people's perceptions of me negatively. And I mean, I'm still working through it, right? Like I still worry about what people think about me a lot, but I give a lot less fucks than I did then. And I would dress myself even after that in like designer everything to try to make people think I'm still successful. You can do this. For the record, when you file bankruptcy, you cannot sell off clothes to pay off debt. It doesn't work like that, apparently. Anyways, that was really the day that I lost everything. And I think that like, I thought I would just find reprieve from it at some point in my life, but I didn't. And I thought that like, I mean, I learned a lot. I learned who my real friends were. I learned how to file bankruptcy. I learned about so many lessons from that. And I think what I want you to take away from it is that if I can be fucking canceled, like globally, if I can be canceled publicly, globally, in a massive way, you should be able to not care what other people think about you. I'm standing here right now, even though I know that half the internet hates me and half the population hates me for no reason. They haven't even met me. They literally don't know me. They do not know me, but they hate me and think I'm a villain because Tana told them to. If I can like continue to create and be myself in a world that not only because of TanaCon and that, but like also Dr. Phil, also being gay, like all these things in the public world that have told me it's not okay to be me, I promise you, it is okay to be you. I'm still here. I'm still surviving. I'm still working. I'm still growing. I'm still learning. And I'm here to teach you now and like grow with you and learn with you and show you and be your permission slip and all these things that come from like the learning through the trauma that I've had and finally finding out who my real friends were and like getting the help I needed, getting antidepressants and medication, weaning myself off of addiction, getting myself physically fit, getting my mental health right, like doing the things that I needed to do in order to reclaim myself from the trauma that event called me. And posting on social media is a part of that reclamation, right? Because every time I approach social media, I used to be terrified of what people think. I used to be terrified of like posting because I couldn't control the narrative and I would be like, they're gonna think this. Like I would just have so much anxiety, not to mention the fact that I'd be bombarded with like hate comments on my screen, like you evil man, you blah, 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 every time I opened it, or litigation that came from it, or like the fucking trauma of being me, the soft little gay boy teddy bear lover that I am. I literally have love tattooed on my hand, met with so much hate and darkness that like I've had to internalize, repackage, and like push aside so it didn't consume me is crazy. And I can teach you how to do that. I think ultimately the power is within you. You cannot rely on other people in any way, shape, form, or fashion to control your experience in reality or your life or your narrative, your inner dialogue, their opinions of you. And if it's stopping you from doing something that you think you should be doing, that's a problem, right? I was just a shadow of darkness and now I'm starting to see the light. And each day I'm reminded that life gets better. And boy, did I learn lessons about business, bankruptcy, friendships, public controversy, so many lessons that each one gets to teach me. And I'm grateful now to have gone through that experience because it has taught me so much. And I learned so much about business, friendships, the toxic world of entertainment and culture and cancel culture and just so many things that like I could have never learned in college or without trying or without chasing my dreams or being scared. And I'm definitely fighting through a lot of fear still, right? Like I still get scared that I'm gonna get shamed publicly again for half the shit that I do. And that includes just like working out of the gym. I'm afraid that I'm gonna get publicly shamed. And that comes with me a lot. So I have to learn to live with it and to reframe it in my mindset when I feel dark or negative. But it comes from loving yourself and being able to really deeply love who you are outside of what people tell you are, outside of what people think that you are, outside of what think you should be, or like, it's really just about you, babe, you. And I hope that this video today teaches you a little bit about what I learned from the time that I lost everything. I love you all, and I will see you next week.